Hello everyone, my name is Pratik Patel and today I'm going to cover the topic of linear support vector machine. So, what is SVM? SVM or support vector machine is a linear model for classification and regression problems. It can solve both linear and non-linear problems and it can work well for many practical problems. So, what is the idea behind SVM? So the idea behind SVM is very simple. The SVM algorithm creates a line or a hyperplane which can separate the data set into different classes or different categories. Let's try to understand this with a simple problem. Suppose we are given a data set of red rectangles and blue circles, and our task is to find an ideal line or hyperplane which can separate this data set into red and blue categories. Uh, and as you can notice from the image that there can be infinite numbers of lines available which can does this job clearly. But we can also see from the data set that there is one line, which is a yellow line in our case, which classifies this data set in the best way. But how can we consider that this is the best line for this data set? So to understand that, first we need to understand the concept of support vector and margin. So what is support vectors? Support vectors, SVM algorithm find the points closest to the line from both the classes which are called support vectors. And what is margin? So the distance between the line and the support vector is called margin. Now, if we want to find the optimal line or hyperplane which can classify this data set in a perfect way, our goal is to be maximize the margin. Now, let's try to understand this in a mathematical representation of support vector, margin, and optimal line. As you can see here that this equation represents the linear model, which can be described as follows. If W transpose X plus B is equal to plus 1, then we can say that anything on or above this boundary line is of one class with label 1. And if W transpose X plus B is equal to minus 1, then we can say that anything on or below this boundary line is of another class with label minus 1. We can also say that if W transpose X plus B is equal to 0, then that line represents as an optimal line or optimal hyperplane. Now we can also calculate the margin using the following equation. Now let's try to look at the application of SVM in real world. So SVM can be used for face detection. SVM classifies parts of the images as a face and non-face and create a square boundary around the face. SVM can also be used for text and hypertext categorization. SVM allow text and hypertext categorization for both inductive and transductive models. They use training data to classify documents into different categories. It categorizes on the basis of the score generated and then compares with the threshold value. SVM can also be used in bioinformatics field. It can be used for identifying the classification of genes, patients on the basis of genes and other biological problems. Now, here is the question for you. So, in the below equation, what is the term B called? So the answer is B is called as bias in the given equation. Thank you.